this?
Let's do Interstellar again.
What was that? Oh god! Oh fuck! Oh, too many donuts.
Yeah, let's do Interstellar first. I want to get
Interstellar.
I need to get my that off my chest first.
Okay. Okay.
Which is like, okay, so we saw it in the IMAX,
BFI.
the fucking massive London one.
Yeah.
Like huge screen, perfect seats.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I tried not to spoil it when we went in, like before we went in. Read a few like of sort of summaries and reviews, but nothing like.
Largely went in blind.
Yeah, didn't really know what was going to happen.
Yeah. So avoided a lot of the trailers. Avoided
Which
a lot
is
of.
the way you should do it, no
Yeah.
doubt. Because this film is one of those ones you want to not really know when you're going into it, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'd say, generally speaking, the reviews have kind of been like, it's good, but it fails in many ways. You know, that's what they're sort of saying. It's like it's okay, but it's not amazing.
Mm.
You know, they're all about what 7, 8, 4. You know, 4 out of 5. You know, it's all like 1 or perfect or whatever. You know?
Yeah, they're kind of saying that it does a lot of things right and it's very impressive technically, but sort of the things that would make it really great, it just misses out on,
Yeah.
or it doesn't quite live up to that.
And I think this is like one of the few times where I'm just like, they're completely wrong.
Yeah.
Like, just out and out, off the mark. Just, I was watching a different film to them, you know. Just sitting there like in the cinema for 3 hours or whatever, long film.
Yeah.
I'd never felt for a second like, I wish this would end, or
Yeah.
like with The Hobbit, for example, where I was just like, make it stop.
That was.
This I was like, I can just
horrible.
sit here and watch it and watch it and watch it.
Looking back, I don't know why we sat through The Hobbit for as long as we did.
Oh my god, we should have just left. I mean, people left during Only God Forgives.
Oh my god, that was way more interesting.
We should have left. But anyway.
Yeah, that's another story.
So sitting there, 3 hours, just completely engrossed. And both times I've seen it twice now.
Yeah.
I think that is kind of generally like what the audience I've been with. It's just, you know, complete silence. Everyone's just watching the film.
Yeah.
And that's exactly like what this film is. It's just like completely engrossing. You get involved in it when you're watching it. And I have to say, like, it was just really fucking like emotional. I don't know. It's just like in your face. I felt like heavy afterwards, you know, just like shit. So for me, like, that says to me it was fucking amazing. You know, that rarely happens with films. So for it to happen is a good thing, without even going into any points about it. So that's my sort of first thing I want to say. Just, you know, it was amazing, and both times I've seen it, it's been pretty much the same. Just like, it's a journey that is really, really interesting and really involving and emotional, and just everything you could ever want really out of a film. Like, if you want a story that's interesting and involving and emotional.
Yeah, so I suppose from my point of view, I agree. I can't argue with anything you've said, I don't think. I think it goes to show that, you know, from my point of view, Christopher Nolan has sort of again, you know, managed to make a film that isn't just technically impressive in how it looks, but also is emotional, and you can have a connection with the characters in there. You know, you look at things like Transformers that, you know, while it might be impressive in terms of the CGI and
technically,
those aspects, but you know, it's lacking so much in other areas, like the script, the
characters, the story,
all those things. That sums those films up basically. But yeah, I think, you know, we both like Christopher Nolan anyway. You know, his films, I don't think he's, you know, the best director in the world, or, you know, anything along those lines, and I wouldn't say I'm like a fanboy for his stuff. I just think there's nothing wrong with liking a lot of what a director has done. Again, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
It's another one of those directors, and I don't think maybe comparing those two are the best comparisons to two completely different directors. But yeah, I don't know. I like a lot of what Christopher Nolan has done, and again, I'd say, like you said yourself, really, that I don't know, like this film like hits all those points that for me makes it a really satisfying watch.
Yeah.
I thought the story was really engaging and really interesting because I'm sure there is a film. Jesus Christ!
Oh, God!
Get ready for the smell.
Won't be as bad as yours.
So I'm sure there are like stories similar to the one in Interstellar where humanity has to sort of abandon the Earth essentially, but nothing on the scale of Interstellar, at least,
Yeah.
Normally it's about people saving the world as opposed to...
Yeah, I liked that it was a bit like the world's fucked.
Yeah. And
we gotta go, essentially.
Yeah, I think the main characters, there's like maybe 3 or 4 main characters you can pick out.
Yeah.
I liked all of them, and none of them annoyed me by making really stupid decisions.
No.
That normally is something that bugs me in films. If the decisions that people make are totally illogical and it's sort of counter to their overall character anyway, do you know what I mean? Like, it's so out of character for them to make this stupid choice. And yeah, so there's none of that. And yeah, the emotional side of things was to the extent where I could really empathise with what was going on.
Yep.
I wasn't sort of sitting there thinking, oh, well, I get their point. I felt that I was, involved a bit more, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to sort of say more than you said, really, without sort of going into spoiling it.
Yeah.
I think.
Which I think we should do, but we'll do it at the end, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
We can do the review
Do it straight.
without, and then just spoil the fuck out of it in a minute.
Yeah. Okay. So, so I've seen it once, and I saw a review and Bolivar in the best possible. We saw it in the best possible format, basically. Is it the 70mm?
Yeah, the 70mm
IMAX.
Actual print IMAX. Yeah.
Which was amazing, by the way. I thought.
Right, I have to say, having seen it now both in like digital IMAX and film IMAX, it's like the advantage of seeing it in digital is that there's less difference between the IMAX and the non-IMAX bits.
Oh yeah.
Because in the London IMAX, you could really tell the difference between full-on 70mm and 35mm. You could really tell the difference. Whereas in the digital, you couldn't tell it as much. You could still tell it, but like not anywhere near as much.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem really is not that the 35mm is bad in London. It's just that 70mm when it comes up and it's the whole fucking screen and it's like pin sharp.
Yeah.
Just blows anything out of the water.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily like a detraction or anything. It's just a point to make that it just looks fucking amazing and it makes it look less good.
Yeah. I think one thing I'd say, just going back to the whole idea around Christopher Nolan, because there seems to be this like there's been this thing, I don't know if it's like in the last few years, where people either sort of love what he does or hate what he does.
Well, he's one of those people who's got into the big director bit where you're going to end up with both sides, aren't you? People that
it's almost
purposely don't like things that are popular
because
and stuff like
they want to be counterculture and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All I'd say, like you said, Christopher Nolan's now considered one of these big directors. He has a huge budget for his films. And he can sort of do what he wants in some respects, I think.
Yeah.
He's given a lot of free rein, it seems, to do the stories he wants.
Which is really good.
That is really good because so far they've all been, very good. He makes good films.
Yeah.
And I'd say he's my favourite big director.
Yeah.
He's my favourite director that makes these huge, like, potentially blockbuster films.
Yeah.
Where you can sort of feel that he's got my trust now because he's done enough, where he hasn't made a really bad film, a really like dumb big film. He's sort of seems to treat the audience with enough respect that they'll be able to handle.
Yeah, although
certain
that brings up like
things.
another point where it's like so many people I think they know all this physics, so they think it's wrong in the film.
So yeah, they've been criticising the film because of the physics that's in the film, the things to do with the black hole and the planets and time and all this stuff. And I know from reading magazines and all these other things. Yeah, whatever. Oh my, what the hell?
What is that?
Oh my god!
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh my god! Oh, I've not been here for
Wait,
ages.
can we go around? I don't understand. It says diversion this way.
I want to see what's going on. Something looks interesting. There's a party going on, and we're not invited. Oh, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
There's people in like high-vis jackets.
You know it's bad when people
It means there's something official going on and it's being like monitored. No.
No.
It's like some police just hanging out.
That's all. The only people watching. So did that say Christian Live, or did I just sort of imagine that?
Oh, they look like they would be.
Yeah, dear.
I got a burger van then. Right, so yeah, criticism has come for the film because of the science in it, basically.
Science.
Yeah, the science, and like Christopher Nolan did consult with actual physicists on, you know, what would possibly be happening or what might be happening in certain situations. So obviously, there's never going to be 100% fact in a film because.
Why would there be anyway?
Yeah, I mean,
because we don't know the stuff technically.
Yeah, firstly, there are gaps in our knowledge that he's taking liberties with, which I don't think there's a problem because he's making a film and not a factual documentary.
Yeah.
And also, you know, he's telling a story, and you know, if it fits within the story, again, it's a film, so you can take liberties with those kinds of things.
Yeah.
You can stretch and bend the truth.
When I was watching it, at no point was I like offended by any of those liberties that he takes.
Well, okay, I don't see why people would be necessarily.
Because I
suppose those are other people's hang-ups on the film, kind of thing. And again, in some ways, it feels to me there's that counterculture thing where people don't want to like it because it's Chris Nolan and he's sort of done these big, successful films that are a bit different and more intelligent.
Yeah.
I don't want to sort of give him too much credit for being this genius, but he is a class above a lot of his like peers, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing for me is that whenever I've seen his films, they always seem to be personal to him, and that he cares a lot about them. When you hear him talk about it, he, you know, has a passion for what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's quite downbeat, and he doesn't sort of gush about his films a lot. You know, but he does care what he's making. It's not he's not signed on to do films. He makes his own stuff in a way. You get like him and his brother, I think, are the ones that write them.
They work a lot together.
And like it's his production company that exactly. Okay, so I suppose we could get on to what our criticisms of the film are.
Well, yeah, okay.
Like just briefly, like because I don't have many, but like again, I wouldn't say anything major is bad with the film at all. I wouldn't say the running length is a problem at all. Like that didn't bother me one bit.
No.
Because I think if a film is really good and engaging and it sucks you in, then
it's irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, The Lord of the Rings is an example of a really long film.
Yeah.
Any one of them, by the way, where you just don't notice the time going because it's such an experience to watch. You know. So I think all the main things that people have been complaining about, brush them aside. For me personally, I don't care.
Yeah.
All I'd say is that I would have liked to have seen more like space exploration, like maybe more just images of.
You just wanted more
of the space.
Yeah.
Like again, I think because it's not necessarily about that as a film. No. That's a framing point for the characters, and that's fine. But
I would agree in that because there's just like I didn't know whether to bring this up, but like, it's a spoiler or not. It's not really a spoiler, is it? But obviously the wormhole's near Saturn. And they it takes 2 years to get there, whatever, you know, like. But in the film, it kind of cuts to Saturn, and there's just this wide out shot of just Saturn and the rings, and
you see the sun, right? You know, millions and millions of miles away.
I don't know what it is about that shot, but it just like made me just be like, fuck. I don't know. Like,
yeah, no, I know what you mean. I was the same. And,
I know what Saturn looks like. I've seen the high resolution images. I've seen like everything, but just to see it massive, sharp.
Yeah, I think
pretty much photorealistic.
Yeah, one of the things that got me with this film was the imagery, but like again the wormholes or some of the shots of that,
like,
where they've. I think this is a real strength of the film, where they use lensing really wisely to sort of create the warping effect around the black hole and around the wormhole. That was really impressive, and I really like that because it's not doing anything that hasn't probably been able to be done before in like films at all. But it's just a really good, intelligent way.
Solidly done.
Yeah,
it looks how it should do, and it holds up, and it doesn't look gimmicky or weird or over the top. But and so on the strength of that shot, in some respects, I wish there was more of that.
Oh yeah, like again. So what I was going to say is the scale.
I'm like upset about it not being there. It's just. It's so good. I would love more.
Yeah, I think that's my main criticism, if any.
Yeah.
The strengths for me are, if I'm going to bullet point them quickly, is the scale made me feel very small.
Oh yeah.
For, like again, those shots did that. The score did that as well. I thought the score was really good, and I really enjoyed the music. I thought it really fitted well with each time. There'd be these big like organ sounding sort of pieces of music.
I mean, you could hear the 2001.
Yeah, that was an inspiration, in terms of how it was shot.
But it's just so good. Like,
and also,
it takes a bit of 2001 and says, "Here it is." And it's like, yep, rightly so.
And again, most of it, I can't really fault this film very much, if I'm honest. Like,
no,
I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's.
For me, like, I kind of wish it was slower paced. That was my main feeling afterwards, where it was like I enjoyed it a lot, and I wish it just had just a little bit more of that kind of older film 2001 style of pacing, where it's just like it's willing to just chill out for a bit,
take its time. Well, it's quite a long.
It would have made it longer, so that probably would have been more criticism for
the length.
Yeah, the length. Maybe he could come out with a director's cut, and I'd be really happy. But
yeah, maybe.
Really, that was the only point where I was like, I wish, I would do that way, maybe. Like otherwise. Yeah, like you said, I can just wipe away any of the criticism anyone else has. I don't think I really have them.
I think if I'm thinking about it, one criticism I'd say, and in some ways it's picking on a strength as well.
Yeah.
One other criticism is that I didn't care as much about the stuff that was happening on Earth. I don't think it's a spoiler saying that, but so later in the film it sort of jumps to and fro from what's happening in space and what's happening back on Earth.
Yeah.
And I think because of the strength of the film about what's happening in space,
you don't want to necessarily spend time on Earth.
I wasn't as interested in what was going on Earth, even though that was interesting as well.
I quite liked how it played them off against each other though.
Yeah, I mean, again,
I thought it was quite nice.
Yeah. Again, it's not really much of a criticism because it's not.
That's the thing with the film, isn't it? Like,
I'm struggling to really pick out.
The points you're like picking on are so tiny, really, that it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I can't really remember the last film that really made me sort of, sort of step back and think, the scale of this film and the scope of it is really big. Just like you said, the shots of like Saturn and space, and you really get a sense of how massive everything is in the film. It's hard to pinpoint exactly, the point I'm making. Essentially, it's quite a vague point in some sense, but if you see the film and if you see it in IMAX, then you get a sense of it being a really grand film, and the score backs that up. I think maybe Lord of the Rings actually is the last film where I felt that, maybe. So it's only been like 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so in summary, I fucking love the film.
Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot.
I can't give it any less than 10, I don't think, out of 10. I can't. Because I don't have any problem. I said this to my brother who's yet to see it.
Oh, okay.
I said, it's the film I want. It's just the film I want. So, why would I give it any less than 10? Yeah?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know if I can give it 10.
Yeah?
And don't get me wrong, like, it's not the film I want. You know, he made the film that would be the right tone and the right approach to sort of sci-fi and space that I hoped he would, because I was a little bit nervous that he wouldn't do it right in some way. Huh? Oh. But yeah, still 9.9. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a perfect film. I don't have that feeling about it.